Yo,
Welcome to another Synfig tutorial, and we will be moving right into the random converter in this video. Alright, so what does the random converter do? Well, it allows your objects to move randomly within the space. So let me just go ahead and create a circle and a star and show you how that works. So for this example, I'll be using the origin point. Although you'll notice that I tend to use the origin point in my examples a lot, okay? But you can use other points as well. But I think it's simpler. So with my origin point for my star selected, just come over here, right click, convert, and click on random. And if I should press play, we see without any keyframes, it begins to move randomly within the space. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same for the circle here. Like so, right click and random and press play, and we see it moving randomly. Now the values that we get for the random converter is we of course get the link, which is the same as the origin here, and we get the radius, the seed, the speed, the interpolation, as well as the loop time. So you can use the loop time to loop the loop its random movement at a certain point. So we're on the ball, right? So let's say we loop this at maybe 2 and click play. We see it loops at that particular point, right? So you can increase this or decrease it as much as you want, but 0 is the default value, and it just allows it to move randomly wherever without any loop. Now the interpolation deals with also the type of movement you get. So right now it's on cubic. Let's go on spline to see what that does. Now we see we get a somewhat of a much smoother movement with the spline, right? And let me go ahead and go on cosine and see what that does. And we see it has that movement there. And so this just alters the type of movement. And linear. Okay, so you can go ahead and experiment with these, and no interpolation. And we see without no interpolation, we see it almost gets this jarred movement. So it's moving from one point to the other, but you aren't seeing any in-betweens. So let me actually change that back to cubic. The speed is the speed at which it moves. So let me change this to 4 and press play, and we see it's moving much faster. The seed is the randomness value, right? So you can add or decrease the seed, and the random movement will change. Yeah, so the seed alters the randomness of the movement in its simplest form, in its simplest sense. And of course, we can change the radius. Let's change this to 4. Yo, Kimati. So that moves, that extends the reach of the randomness, right? So far it goes. Right, and so on and so forth. Now, this is a good time to tell you that you can actually mix converters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can. Now, even though this is moving random, we can actually, let's say we wanted to move these randomly on a particular axis, whether the x-axis or the y-axis. We can actually go ahead and do that. So with this point selected, I'm going to actually convert this first, reconvert this to a composite. And the reason why I converted it to a composite, the composite converter gives you 2 values, which is the x and the y. So if we go and look at that, we see we have the x-axis and the y-axis, right? So we convert it to this first so we can get these values, and then we decide which one of these we want to make it move randomly on. So let's say I want it to move randomly on the x-axis. I'm going to go here, right click, convert, and click random. And now we have it moving randomly on the x-axis. And we can do the same for the star here. So I'm going to right click convert, and oh, by the way, once you convert it to one of these, it will automatically update it, right? So notice when I converted the first one to the composite, it just automatically converted it to the composite converter. But if you want to disconnect this, you can actually right click disconnect, or if you just convert it to another converter, it will automatically change. So convert and composite, and for this one I'm going to put it on the y-axis, random. So we have one moving randomly on the x-axis and one moving randomly on the y. Okay, and of course we can go ahead and make that movement a bit much faster. So speed, let me put this at 4, and for this one let me put it at 4 as well. All right, so that's basically what the random converter does. It allows your objects to move randomly on your canvas. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.
Yo, MRD.